you were not afraid to wear your influences on your sleeve. Yeah. You were very good about being like, this is what I was listening to. This is where I got this from. Yeah. This is my influence. This is my inspiration. It's all through your music. Yeah. And there's so many layers to it. I hear John Forte in you, and I know that doesn't sound obvious. Right. But the reason is because John Forte, when he was making a certain type of mainstream style of rap that was popularized by Biggie and 95, 94, 95 Bad Boy, and then later like, you know, Jadakiss, when Jadakiss and Beanie Siegel and them was on the mixtapes, that era. And you've spoken about Nas, GZA being influences, but you have a song called 95 Bad Boy Era, and your rhymes are littered with references to not just Big, but Diddy and Big and their relationship.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why is it so important for you to pay homage in that way?
It's important because I feel like that's how you continue to keep this culture and this thing going. You know, you got to know where all this came from and where it started. And like you said, I have no problem saying, yo, this person influenced me, that person. I think we live in an era where, you know, you feel like, oh, if I say so-and-so is the reason why I rhyme like this or so-and-so inspired me, then you giving it up and that knocks you down. Not at all. Right. Like, that's corny. That's stupid. Corny. I mean, there's so many people that are moving that are like some of the biggest artists in the world who've come to me and been like, yo, Sky, you the reason why I rhyme like this. Yo, you the reason why. It's crazy, like names that people would be blown away by. But, you know, I feel like sometimes people feel like if they give it up publicly, then it becomes a different thing. And man, you know, and no matter who it is. So I'll tell heads, yo, listen, I remember the day I bought Black Star, the day. You know what I mean? I remember that day in September, you know what I mean? In high school. And, you know, I remember that
You know, because it definitely came out in September, too.
28th, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the day before my birthday.
28th.
Yeah, September 28th. Yeah. It was you, it was Aquemini, and it was Jay Volume 2.
Beats, Rhymes, and Life. No, Love Movement came out that day.
Wow, I forgot that
Foundation by Brand Nubian came out that day.
Wow, yes, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that dropping. Dag, that's crazy. Because we all bought the J joint, and then me and my man was like, all right, one of us gonna buy Outkast, one gonna buy Black Star, and we just swap it out. You know what I mean?
So that's what you had to do back in the
day. Yeah, so then I bought Outkast, my man bought Black Star, but I knew we was gonna swap it out, and I never gave it back. You know what I mean? Like, and I kept the same one me and my best friend copped in '98 is the one at my house now. Wow, I never gave it back. I was like, nah, you dead on that.
That's
you know
beautiful.
what I mean? Like,
that's beautiful.
You mentioned Bad Boy and Puff and all that, and I would love to touch on that. Because I think it's funny that a lot of people look at me in a certain light, quote unquote underground or backpack rap, whatever you want to call it, because of the type of beats I pick or the records that I choose not to make, as opposed to the records I choose to make. But I grew up on Big Block. I was surrounded by Bad Boy. Yeah, I was surrounded by Bad. You know what I mean? I was surrounded by Junior Mafia. We would sit on the step and Kim would walk by. You know what I mean? That was normal. We would go to the store, play fighting, sharing a hero, and Big would be shooting dice. Like, that was normal to us, you know? So how can I not be influenced by those guys? Like, my neighborhood was Bad Boy world.
I mean, so for me, at that time, my best friend Juju lived on St. James and Fulton at the time, right?
Up the block.
I went to Summit Junior High School, which is a PS 11, right?
Yep.
And then for my last year of Summit, I went to IS 113.
That's
right?
crazy.
So
you was in the neighborhood.
I was in that neighborhood as a kid. So I'm on the 25 bus. My father was teaching College of New Rochelle. So for me, when that music started coming out, I was working for Jessica Rosenblum, who was Puff's partner.
Right.
And so I would go to parties. It would be me and John Forte and C Knowledge from Diggable Planets. And we go to the party and it'd be Big and Tupac. You know, or it'd be
crazy.
that's you know what I'm saying? Like, so that whole like 94 to 97, I was in the clubs, I was in the tunnel. I was at Supper Club. You know, I was working essentially for Funkmaster Flex because Jessica was managing Flex, Enough, Big Cap, Budokan, Mad Wayne, and Biz Markie.
Wow.
And those are the DJs. It was Flip Squad DJs.
Right.
So I was at the Palladium.
I was a kid, but I remember all the names on the radio. Yep.
When we came out, people looked at us as the anti-Puffy. But when I came out, I knew Puff. I had a relationship.
He was in that
with
mix.
Yeah, this is my peoples.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it as what we was doing as separate or different. The fans did.
I always say that, bro. I always say the fans are who divide it all. And they think they got the right intentions, which is great. So it's weird. Because it's a tug of war because you want to salute them because you got the right intentions, because you want the quote-unquote real or what you think is the real, which, you know, you classify as us. to win, but the division always comes from the fans, man, because they don't know we listen to this and those guys listen to us and whatever, you know? Like, somebody asked me the other day, they was like, yo, you know, with your music, you make hip-hop, but you've added like a sophistication to it with the type of beats you pick and the fact that you always add live trumpets and string sections, and where did that come from? And I was like, one, I'm a jazz head, and two, it came from Puff. It came from Puff. You know what I mean? Without ever meeting Puff a day in my life, it came from the fact that I was such a bad boy head as a graffiti kid growing up doing graffiti my whole life. I used to tag bad boy. Like, I would tag Skyzoo on the train and I would tag bad boy. You know what I mean? Like, I was such a graph head and I was such a bad boy guy at that age. Puff and them could do no wrong in my eyes, you know? So when Puff was adding strings to Somebody Gotta Die and I Love You Baby and Victory and all that, as a 14-year-old, I was like, that's what it's supposed to sound like. I was blown away by that. Like, nobody was adding strings to hardcore street records about, you know, one dude's in my eye, that's Jason. Ain't no slugs gonna be wasted. Revenge feeling at the tip of my lips. I can't wait for my clip in his hip. And you hear these strings in the bed, like, yo, he's talking the most heinous corner store, shoot you up. And he got these beautiful strings behind it.
He said he was making movies.
You know what I'm saying? And when I heard that, I was like, when I make music, that's what it gotta be. I gotta have that quote-unquote sophistication without even using that word back then. I was like, that's what I got to do. So it all came from Puff, man. I tell people, as much as I grew up on you guys and, you know, when I say you guys, obviously you and Mos and, you know, the Genius and Jay and Nas, Mace showed me how to write records without even knowing. I'm a huge Mace fan. You know what I mean? Mace showed me how to go from just being in a lunchroom, my man banging on the table and me spitting 100 bars to structure and 16 hook, 16 hook. I got that from Murder Mace. You know what I mean? So, like, there's this, again, this juxtaposition of, I guess, James Baldwin and Frank Lucas.
That's right. That's
like,
right.
You know what it is? I feel like as fans, the competitiveness, because the same thing as when you're watching basketball, it's like you want your player to be better than the other player. So it's like you want your rapper to be better than the other rapper.
A lot of that is really fun and really the fuel that drives the culture. If the fans didn't passionately debate, it wouldn't be as sweet for us. So we just we gotta appreciate it.
That's why I said it's a tug of war. Some of it is like, that helps us and that's dope and we appreciate it. You got the right intentions. But then the rest of it is like, yo, we really rock with these guys.
That's where the social justice part comes into it. Because it's like healthy competition, shit talking, all that. My man is better than your man. My team is better than your man. But at the end of the day, we want all black people who come from where we come from to succeed. So even if you make a record that I don't like or don't resonate with me, as an artist, I know how hard it is to make that record. So it's like, okay, that might not be for me, but
it's good a record.
Shit, you did it. Congratulations. And that's how it is.
And you changed your mother life and your father life and your kids' lives, you know what I mean? So absolutely.
What we done started, look at what we done started. This the people party. When opportunity knocking, then young nigga move that door. Whoa, get your foot stuck in it, call me young, go get it. Now you can't fuck with it, might as well roll with it. What's the word?